All right, so first and foremost, guys, understand that I am using my voice-activated GoPro. I don't have to touch the camera for it to start, doing its thing. And also, it's mounted out of the way, out of my line of sight, and I am facing, looking at the road, but I'm also checking my mirrors like I'm supposed to be doing as a good professional driver. Now, let's get into what's up with my Ford, what happened, guys. At the end of the day, this is not news, or this shouldn't be news, but my driver was driving, everything is going good, and unfortunately, these CP4s are massively unreliable. And so last week, what happened was he was just driving down the highway, driving down the freeway, right? And he has an oversized load, and I'm gonna put pictures on the on the screen. So he has an oversized load in a customer truck that he picked up, and he's transporting them from Minnesota down to Texas. So he's southbound on 35. And right when he crosses the border from Minnesota into Iowa, he told me, or he reported to me, that what happened was the battery light came on, or the check engine light came on, and then the battery came on. It was either battery light first and then check engine, or check engine and battery. But basically, those two lights turned on, and the truck literally shut down right then and there, okay? And he quickly, he passed an exit, and then right when it happened, he looked down, he's like, uh-oh, no power, and he pulled over to the side of the road. Now, there's two things that I want you guys to take out of this video, right? So first and foremost is Enterprise is really good, but second of all, Enterprise is really bad. I know, right? So, but let me explain. So the first problem that we had was this tow truck company, right? And so what happens is Enterprise, right? This is the bad side of Enterprise. And it's not even Enterprise. I believe the service that they use, what's it called? Man, I already forgot the name. It was either Swoop or something like that. So they use a tow truck service, a tow truck connecting service, right? And basically what you do is you call the Enterprise number, and you say, you call their 1-800 number, and it says option 5 is if you're broke down on the side of the road, you click option 5. Right? Now, here's the issue. I did all that. I called them up. They said, okay, great. We're going to dispatch you a tow truck. And I told them on the phone, guys, it's a pickup truck with a 40-foot trailer. And they're like, okay, great stuff. We'll send it out. And the tow truck company calls me and says, hey, man, the problem is it's built on our order as a medium trailer or medium tow. The problem is medium tow is up to a 20-foot trailer. It needs to be labeled as a heavy-duty tow because that means that's for trailers over 20 feet long. I tell the tow truck company, I'm like, all right, that's not a problem. Sounds like a plan to me. I can get that done. I call back this company, whatever they're called, Swoop or Swift, or it's not Swift, it's, I swear I think it's Swoop. If I'm not mistaken, it might be Swoop. I don't know, maybe that's the Nike thing, I'm not sure. But anyways, I'm gonna put the name right here once I find it. So I call them back and I'm like, guys, there's a small issue. My guy's pulling a trailer. Like I told you, it's a 40-footer. The tow truck company cannot go get him if he has a trailer that's longer than 20 feet because you guys labeled it incorrectly. I tell him, I'm like, please update the job from medium to heavy duty. Okay, please do that. They're like, okay, we can. Keep in mind, only 5-10 minutes has transpired since the breakdown, so I'm trying to get this thing really sorted really quickly because I know what it's like to be stuck on the side of the road waiting for a tow truck. It's not pleasant, okay? So I'm freaking out for my driver because he's on the side of the freeway. Trucks and cars are zooming past him, and I'm like, okay, great, we gotta get it sorted. They said they will do it. I'm glad. Awesome. Company is great, even though it wasn't Enterprise. It's some third-party towing company connection software. I'm okay, great. It works out because my experience with third-party companies has always been terrible. Always. My recommendation to you, if you break down, always, please deal directly with the towing company, pay them whatever they need to be paid, because that'll be the quickest way to get you off the side of the road. So I go about my business like normal, thinking that everybody is dispatched, everything is fine, and an hour and a half goes by, and I call up the company because that was the estimated time that they gave for the tow truck to show up, about an hour and a half. Hour and a half goes by, and I call the towing company. I'm like, hey guys, where are you? You should be pulling up. It's been about an hour and a half. They respond, we never got the updated order. So an hour and a half has gone by, and they you know, I was a little pissed off at them on like incorrectly of me. I was like, you guys didn't want to call and update me saying that they didn't update the order after 10 minutes or something. And they're like, no, we didn't think of that. So I hung up on them, right? I'm like, this sucks. So I hung up on the tow truck company, called back this software company, and I'm like, guys, what is going on? Please look through your records and look through your logs. When did I call you and tell you to update from medium to heavy duty? Please tell me. And they're like, we don't keep track of that. So I started getting a little frustrated with them, telling them how bad of a software service provider they are, and I said they can, you know, take it and throw it or put it somewhere where the sun don't shine. But the point remains the same. I called back the tow truck company. I'm like, guys, I don't care. Just go get my driver. He's been on the side of the road now for almost 2 hours. Just go get my driver. I'll pay out of pocket. And so that's what happened. It was like $550 to tow him like 13 miles. Or no, it wasn't 13 miles. No, maybe it was like 3 miles. It wasn't far because it was they literally took him to the dealership. So they towed him whatever, a couple of miles. There's like some distance. I don't care. It was $500. I don't expect Enterprise to reimburse me. But then I called back Enterprise and I'm like, I called back Faye actually, and I'm like, Faye, what is going on with this dumb company that you guys use? And she's like, Alex, you're not the only one that you're frustrated. Like, you're not the only one that they frustrate. Other people have broken down because of the same CP4 problem, coincidentally, and everybody doesn't like them. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is what happens is they only reimburse the tow for the truck. So I'd have to pay for the trailer to get towed either way. But I'm just like sitting there, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna tell my guy to go disconnect from the trailer and call in two tow trucks because that'll be more expensive anyways. So I ended up just paying the $551 or something like that for the wrecker, for one wrecker to go get the truck and trailer. And if Enterprise gives me a couple $100, great. If not, I don't care. So then I put the driver in a hotel and I call Enterprise and I say, hey, Faye, what can we do about this truck? It's broke down. What do you got for me? Okay, give me anything. I'm open to all options. The guy is loaded with an oversize. We got to deliver the load ASAP. Like, what do you got for me? And she goes like, Alex, I think I'm getting a lease return right now and the truck is in the shop, so I'll get you one like in the next day or two. I'm like, all right, whatever, work on that, let me know. But she said, before you send your driver to Indiana, just double check, wait a couple hours for the dealership to actually do their first preliminary inspection and let us know that it is the fuel system and not something minor. I'm like, fair enough. So we waited a couple hours, and then sure enough, they said that, I called up the dealership, they're like, yes, it is a fuel system issue for sure. Okay, and I'm like, okay, great, I'm not taking any chances. I started looking for flights, right? And we're broke down in this tiny town in Iowa. There's like one tiny airport that only flies to St. Louis and Chicago or something. St. Louis, Chicago, and possibly and maybe Minnesota, right? And the only outbound flight for that day was like in the afternoon. And I'm like, oh man, what's the point of waiting another 3 or 4 hours just for him to make the flight when instead we could just, you know, not rush or whatever, or get a rental or something. And so the dispatcher and I, we talked about it and we're like, dude, it doesn't make any sense to grab this flight. So let's just grab him an Enterprise rental from the small town that's in Iowa, and we will then have the driver drive to Indiana from Iowa, turn that car in right to the Enterprise location and grab the truck and drive right back, right? And so the really cool part about Enterprise is you don't have to like go do a new rental. You could basically say that you turned in your truck and you got a car instead. And that's exactly what we did, right? So it was honestly that part of Enterprise, and Faye hooked it up. That part was super seamless. Like, she unassigned the truck to me and replaced it with the Dodge Charger that the driver was excited to drive. And then once we got back to the Indiana location, she unassigned the Dodge Charger and put in the red Ram that the driver has now instead. And once the driver got back to Iowa, he hooked up to the trailer, transferred over all his stuff, and he continued. We updated the oversized permits with the correct vehicle VIN number, all that stuff. We got the insurance fixed, got it all taken care of, right? Because it was the weekday, so everything is good, everybody's working. So we updated all of our paperwork and stuff, so everything is going good. But I realized that, or it hit me that the driver won't deliver the oversize till Monday, and the oversize was going to Kansas. And the problem was that the truck was going down to Texas, and that truck had to be delivered in Texas by Sunday. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. And so sure enough, you know, wherever there's a problem, you know, Alex to the rescue. So I hopped in my truck and boogied all the way up to Kansas. The driver made it from Iowa to Kansas City, and then he stopped at the Pilot, and then I drove all the way up to Kansas City, picked up the truck, and brought it all down and delivered it to the customer, and here's those videos. Okay, so here's the truck that picked it up. Here's me. We're dock to dock. I'm using the ramps just to basically make it as gradual as possible. So now I'm just gonna push it, and hopefully everything goes well. I'm going really, really slow because I had to aim it in between my wheel wells. So this fits perfectly, and this other side, right here, fits right in between the wheel wells. So it's going smoothly. I'm gonna double check my ramp, slide them in a little bit. I mean, honestly, it looks pretty good. So I could probably, but anyways, it's going super smooth. Not a single hiccup, doesn't want to run away from me. Not a single issue whatsoever. Literally couldn't have gone any better than it's going better right now. All right, the issue we're having is the truck. It's going so well and it's so snug that the tires are just in the wheel well slowing me down. So I couldn't push it from the front and let it keep going. So I just got to strap it from the back, from the frame, and I'm pulling it back now. All right, so we're past the wheel wells now. I should be able to get a final push to get off the ramp. All right, I put it in gear and I put the brake up so it shouldn't go anywhere, because only one truck has pulled up in this 15 minutes that I've been doing it. Only one truck, so I'm not blocking anyone. So I just want to make sure I can pull forward when that guy is ready to leave. All right, so I don't know, you probably can't see much, and my light on my head doesn't really do much either, but you can see these front wheels, they have like 3 inches gap. And so those back ones are the snug ones. It's just interesting to see how much technology has changed, because think about this, a dual rear wheel usually is the width of 8.5 wide, you know? So it's really impressive to see how a dually fit in between my single axle fenders. That's just crazy. And so that was this past week, right? Bunch of stuff going on, logistics issues and problems. So, but I got it handled, got it taken care of, right? So the problem was though, now, I called up the Ford dealership again, or that was this past week and weekend. And so, you know, I called the Ford dealership again. I'm like, hey guys, update, give me something, what it is. And they're like, we have confirmed it is a CP4. We've confirmed it. We have no doubt in our minds. So now we have to replace thoroughly the whole fuel system, okay? That's CP4, injectors, all the lines, the tank possibly, I'm not sure. So just a bunch of stuff, right? And the issue right now is if new trucks are on back order, there's no way they'll get parts to this Ford dealer for the CP4 fix. And so in reality, that truck is just gonna have to sit in Iowa at some tiny little Ford dealership for the next, I don't know, 3-4 months probably before it even gets parts to get fixed. And once that truck is fixed, then I can go back and get it again and put it to work again, because Faye said she can let me keep it, because the Ram that they did give me, that Ram had 59,000 miles. It was literally a maxed out lease return that they finally just were able to switch it out. And so I know I'm gonna have to take that Ram and give it back to them soon, or as soon as the next available truck with less miles comes in. But here's the problem, guys, you know what I mean? I have the gray Ford that the other driver is driving, right? Not the silver one is the one that broke down. That one broke down at 38,000 miles. But the gray Ford that I was driving and gave to my driver, it has like 72,000 miles, and it's doing fine. And so I don't understand these CP4 issues, how, like, you know, why some trucks are okay and some aren't. Like, what's the difference? I don't know. To my research, or to my understanding, it seems like it's air that really damages the things. So make sure you keep your tanks full. Because these new generation pumps are so highly pressurized and the lines are so small that a little bit of air can throw the whole thing off. That's, to my understanding, how it works. And so basically keep your tanks always full. Don't take any chances by running the tanks too low, right? That's basically all I've heard. And then I saw another video that if you run like some kind of something in your diesel as well, I shared it on my community page a while back, but basically run the running a diesel additive. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, diesel additive in your fuel, and it should help out as well. The driver went from the Ford to the Ram, and all I ever heard from him was, Alex, this Ram sucks. Please get me back in a Ford. And I'm like, dude, I can't. That's out of my hands. You know what I mean? I have no control over that. But I'm like, it's at that moment, right? Like, pulling my hair out, freaking out, like, what do I do? What do I do? It was a massive relief having a big company like Enterprise giving me another truck just so I could get down the road. It really was a massive relief. So guys, at the end, like, those are the benefits, or that's the benefit of Enterprise. You know what I mean? Like, that, having that, like, you know, ability to be able to not have to worry about the truck, or if something does go wrong, you're not stuck with that breakdown with those payments when that thing is no longer making you money. Guys, in reality, think about if I bought that Ford. What if it's like $55,000 for like that kind of Ford, and what, now it's down, I'd still have to be making payments. I'd be stuck with no, I wouldn't be stuck with a repair bill because it would be under a warranty technically, but still, like, they're gonna milk it for 4 months. That's 4 months of payment, 4 months of lost revenue. It's like, dude, that's a terrible deal. So I'm super thankful and grateful for Enterprise, you know, except for that towing service software company that they use. I still can't remember what the name is. Except for that company really sucks and I hate them. But, you know, but that's just one of those things that I'll just pay out of pocket. If I ever break down again, I'll just pay out of pocket, no problem. I'm not even gonna bother calling them, not even gonna bother Enterprise. I'll just pay for the tow truck myself and call it good, just because it pisses me off when my driver's on the side of the road. He was on the side of the road for 3 hours. So I was aggravated at that it took so long to get him off the road. You know what I mean? That was really frustrating. So that's the story of the Ford CP4 problem. One is doing good, 71,000 miles or 72,000 miles, no problem. One's doing not so good, so who the heck knows, really, you know? But yeah, that's the story of the problematic CP4 and the Ford that broke down for the company.